It's time for another round of Let's Play the highest rated Steam games on random. Remember the 90s when action movies weren't about nuance, emotions or characters, but about big, jacked guys mowing down bad guys to save the world? I miss that time. Good thing there's Broforce, the side-scrolling run-and-gun shooter that not just lets you be Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone and Chuck Norris, but throws them all in a blender and lets you play as the result. As with any self-respecting 90s parody, there's no story to talk about. You just get dropped in as one of the bros and start taking out bad guys. You unlock more bros by freeing prisoners, and there is a lot of them. Last I counted, there were a whopping 50-something, all based on action legends from the past, each with their own weapons, movements and specials. From Rambo, Terminator, Snake Plissken, Raiden from Mortal Kombat and even Alan Ripley, or Alan Ripbro because of course. The result is chaos like you've never seen before, where every level feels like a scene from a particularly violent action movie. It's amazing, and every time I play it, I forget how much I love this game. Players drop into missions via helicopter, complete with explosions and guitar rock music trailing them. And from there, it is pure carnage. Enemies splatter into gory red pixels, the terrain crumbles under your feet, and every bullet fired sets off an explosion like it's the 4th of July. Those destructible environments aren't just for show either. They are part of the strategy. Take this here bridge for example.
And it's gone!
This goes for digging underground tunnels with explosions to firing a rocket launcher at that lonely carrying wall to tumble down whole buildings. And just when you think it can't get any crazier, the story kicks into overdrive. What starts as a pretty generic fight against terror turns into a full-blown war on everything from aliens to demons, and even entire dimensions. One moment you're rescuing prisoners in Vietnam, the next you're battling xenomorph on a flaming chunk of hell. This game isn't afraid to go hard and over the top. It is freaking amazing. I'm not generally big into racing games, so it was with measured optimism and a healthy dose of let's just see what happens that I started BeamNG Drive. What kind of name is that anyway? And I have to say, at first I didn't really get it. There's no real structure, no grand campaign. It just feels like a big open-ended box of missions and bad decisions. Mostly on my part, that is. It didn't feel like a racing game to me. There are some campaigns, but mostly it's just a bunch of challenges loosely duct taped together. And yet, the more I played, the more I clicked, there's actually a ridiculous amount of stuff to do here. Traditional races? Yes. Time trials? Sure. Wild jumps, destruction derbies, and obstacle courses designed by what I can only assume are retired Mythbusters, all here. Or maybe you're into SnowRunner style delivery missions. Great news, there are plenty of those too. Some are surprisingly hard, especially when your cargo decides it no longer believes in the laws of physics. Prefer cop chases? The game leans into that Need for Speed Hot Pursuit vibe without blinking. Want to drive a bus and follow traffic laws like the world's slowest adrenaline junkie? You can, but take it from me, it's somehow way harder than it should be. And when that inevitably gets boring, just take a cannon and blow it all up. There's something here for everyone. And by that, I mean everyone who secretly wants to crash expensive vehicles in creative ways. As with pretty much every game I touch, it's also surprisingly hard. To me, that is. The realism here is off the charts. A small bump into a guardrail and boom, your radiator's done, your axle snapped and you're watching your front left wheel roll off into the sunset. Time for another restart. And the speed. This game feels incredibly fast. It's almost scary. Shrubbery blows by, one mistake and you're airborne, spinning through the trees like gravity just took a break. And that's when the damage system rears its beautiful head. I thought Wreckfest had good damage modeling, but BeamNG is on a whole other level. Scratches, panels ripping off, radiators ejecting like missiles, wheels flinging themselves into space, it's all disturbingly detailed. And the game looks great too. Nice environments, detailed cars, and even whole cities are beautifully displayed. And if the pre-built content somehow isn't enough, there's a massive community scene. So yeah, this game kinda snuck up on me. I went in thinking it wasn't for me, but now I am completely hooked. I bought Bloons TD6 on Steam with very low expectations. I'd seen this game on the Google Play Store on my phone and had already written it off as yet another tower defense game. Yes, I know I'm very judgmental of my games, but 10 minutes after my Steam purchase, I'd also bought it on my phone. Let me tell you, there's definitely something to this game. The premise is simple. It's monkeys against the continuous onslaught of balloons on rails. Simple, you might think, but you, sir, are wrong. Let me start at the beginning with the content. Content with a capital K. There is so freaking much of it. Unlockables, monkeys in many forms, all with their own multiple skill trees, upgradable heroes, so many different balloons that all need their own strategy, side quests, challenges, boss events, co-op, seasonal updates, and like a whole campaign mode that I keep forgetting exists because I'm still trying to beat the main mission maps. There is so much, it's almost overwhelming. But it's not just quantity, there's a surprising amount of depth. This game is not easy. You will place towers wrong and you will lose. Often in round 59 of 60, you will smash your phone, but you will learn. Eventually. And yes, it is a tower defense game, but you need strategy. And what you really need to know is what a Moab filled with LED camo balloons inside of it is. And on the whole, this game is just a whole lot of fun. There's a reason this is in the top 250 Steam games list of all time. I went into one shot without any expectation, or even knowing what exactly I was getting into. From the intro it seemed like it was going to be a chill little pixel puzzle game, but that's not the case. No, here's the setup. You play as Nico, a small cat-like child thing with enormous yellow eyes. Nico wakes up in a weird abandoned house. No explanation, no tutorial, nothing. Just you and a giant light bulb that you find early on, again without explanation, which as it turns out is the sun of this universe. After some investigating, it turns out this world is dying. The people you meet are either robots who've led a pretty rough life and have seen way too much, or NPCs who are also seemingly one step away from checking out permanently. All of it is very melancholy. But things get crazier. Nico actually talks to you. Meaning the actual you. He uses your real name, even though I'm pretty sure I never gave it to him because I'm very careful about giving my name to random strangers. It's weird at first, but eventually you get used to Nico looking directly up at you and saying stuff like, "I'm scared." I love these fourth wall breaking moments, like when the game shuts itself down because Nico has to rest, and you have to just kind of scroll around in the operating system. The puzzles are clever. The writing's really good and the visuals are charming in that made-in RPG Maker kind of way. And the music is actually surprisingly good, but low-key kind of depressing. One Shot is great. It's emotional without being melodramatic, clever without being too annoying, and just short enough to finish in a good weekend of gaming. Then we have number 72. Not the type of game I thought I'd ever be playing. I mean, I have 3 kids, I am a dad, so booting up a game where I pretend to be one, in the small sliver of time when I'm not being one in real life, didn't really feel that attractive to me. The setup sounds like a Hallmark movie. Your wife's gone, and now you're raising your 6-year-old daughter by yourself. I regretted booting up this game more and more by the minute. You get to decide how she grows up. What kind of dad do you want to be? Supportive, strict, protective, but kind of bad at it like I was. It's all up to you. At first glance, it seemed one of those low-budget indie sims where you're mostly just clicking through dialogue boxes. But that wasn't really the case. Beneath the anime dad-daughter bonding stuff is an oddly deep, shockingly engaging little RPG sim. Before you know it, you're not just parenting, you're managing her weekly schedule like a boss. There are 6 stats to train: strength, intelligence, imagination, emotion, and 2 more that I can't remember. But every week is a balancing act between classes, jobs, adventures, and rest. So every choice feels weighty and even influence what she wants to do in life. College, knight, or maybe she'll go full-on scientist. And I have to admit, at this point I was getting pretty invested. But when I really started enjoying the game is when they bring in the background story of demons invading the realm and introducing things like sword fighting, dungeon exploring, and monster invasions. Yes, you'll be training in martial arts, horse riding, and gathering a party to help defend the city. The tone doesn't fully shift into something like Dragon Quest, but it's way more involved than I expected from something that's called Volcano Princess. I haven't finished it yet, but I can already tell I'm going to try multiple playthroughs. Turns out, being a good fantasy dad is just as hard as being a real one, but with more swords. I haven't played the first 3 Room games, mostly because I enjoy doing things out of order like a lunatic. But after playing Old Sins, I'm absolutely going back, because this game grabbed me. You play as a private investigator or some other vague profession of mystery, and you are sent in to investigate a creepy dollhouse. Each room in this dollhouse is like stepping into a miniature escape room built by someone who's never heard the word restraint. It starts out simple enough. slide this drawer, twist that knob, but 5 minutes later your arm's deep in something that can only be described as a saw torture device from hell. Every time you open something, the game rewards you with another puzzle box. You solve a puzzle to get another puzzle, inside a puzzle, inside a dollhouse, inside your real house, which seems to be haunted or something. But I don't want to give too much away. But there is a story here, told through notebooks. It's about some guy obsessed with machines, his descent into madness, and probably a failed marriage or two. But honestly, I kinda stopped paying attention after the increasingly complex puzzles started taking up all my brain space, given the limited amount there is. It reminds me a bit of Portal, not because of the gameplay, but because it scratches that same I'm a genius, but also possibly insane kind of feeling. You solve something, sit back and go, yeah, I did that. I'm so smart. Now what the heck am I supposed to do? Give it a try, if you dare. This game puts the plat back in platforming, and also the what the heck did I just watch back in your life. I don't know if that makes any sense, but neither does Battle Block Theater. And that's just the vibe they're going for. You crash land your ship, the USS Friendship, get it? Which is ironic because it immediately strands you in a death arena run by sentient cats and an evil puppet master called Hattie Haddington who majored in something relating to creepy torture devices. There seem to be a lot of those guys in the games I try. You play as an unnamed protagonist who got dropped on his head a few times too often and is tossed into increasingly savage obstacle courses made of spikes, soap blocks, water hazards and weaponized mine blocks. It's like Wipeout but in the Saw universe. This is from the great minds behind Castle Crashers, which makes perfect sense once the first cat explodes and the narrator starts roasting you. Speaking of the narrator, he's amazing. Every time you die, and you will, he's right there making sure you feel it right in your core. I've watched the trailer more often than I care to admit just for the fact that he's in it.
1,000,000,000p graphics with high-resolution super texture technology that modern human eyeballs can't even see.
Gameplay-wise, this is platforming turned up to 11. You're dodging buzzsaws, jetpacking over acid bats, solving puzzles, some of which took me an embarrassingly long time, and occasionally you get betrayed by your own co-op buddies, because I thought it would be funny, which is a valid excuse here. Each level needs at least 3 gems to finish, but I can tell you from experience that you'll keep hunting for all 7 because it is so addicting. The levels are fast, punchy, and just short enough that when you mess up, you immediately go back for more. And then 10 deaths later, you're still there, trying to get that last gem. You know how it is. There's no health bar, no lives, just infinite respawns and that kind of instant punishment that makes you say, that one might have been me. On one hand, the checkpoints are forgiving. On the other, there are plenty of spikes for you to get impaled on. So it's never easy. This whole game is just tuned for fun. It's chaos, but the controlled kind. There's even a level editor in case you'd like to dish out some of your own punishment after getting impaled for the 30th time. And also, the soundtrack is great. This game is really good. Worth the play for sure. And lastly, we have number 124. And this game should be illegal. Not because it's violent or offensive, but because of how addicting this is. It starts off simple enough. Clean a van. Just a simple tutorial. No. 15 minutes later, I'm still scrubbing, fixated on a tiny speck of dirt under the bumper. The entire gameplay loop is this. Point hose at dirt, dirt goes away. That's it. That's the game. And it's awesome. You get a power washer, a few nozzles and some soap, but that's about it. You start with a white spray and swap to that thin laser-like spray when some stubborn grease refuses to leave quietly. And yes, you will get emotionally invested in defeating it. There's a button to highlight leftover dirt, which sounds unnecessary until you've spent 10 minutes walking around in circles wondering what you've missed. You'll tell yourself this is cool, relaxing even, but the moment you're scrubbing algae off the playground slide at 1:30 AM, I'm not sure how true that is anymore. And this game knows exactly what it's doing. It gives you just enough unlocks like soaps, better equipment, fancier nozzles to keep you locked into that loop. Clean, upgrade and repeat. The jobs scale up nicely too. Pretty soon you're washing entire mansions, trains, motorcycles, and even temples. I don't even know how I got from van to ancient ruin, but at some point I was power washing on Mars. And then I just had to buy a bunch of its expansions because how could I resist? Cleaning in the Warhammer universe, the mansion from Tomb Raider, and literal stuff from Final Fantasy VII's Midgar, the crossover content is awesome. I just couldn't help myself. And weirdly, it's all very satisfying. Getting that 5-star rating on a perfectly clean level feels better than it has any right to be. And that's all I've got for today. Let me know what you think. Are you picking any of these up? Also, check this video here for some amazing turn-based tactics games like XCOM, and this one for more overwhelmingly positive Steam games. I hope to see you in the next one.